Hey up, how's everybody doing? Good to see everybody. Excuse me. I was just sitting here smiling to myself because the little John is back. I mentioned it in last night's video, but if you didn't see that yet, was it last night or this morning? No, I think it was last night. Yesterday at 12 o'clock, the famous bongs. I've lived here 20 years next year, and it's just, you get used to it. But when they're silenced, which happened a couple of months back for repairs, first time they haven't bonged in over 50 years, so more than my lifetime. And there was 1,195 pieces that had to be cleaned or repaired. And now they're saying it will continue to bong every 15 minutes for over the next 100 years easily. So long after we're all gone, little John will be bonging away. That doesn't sound too good, does it? Anyway, let's do the hellos. I'm a little bit chopped off here. So let's see, lots of people chatting, which is always lovely to see. Marilyn was the first one in. Hello, lovely. How are you? Followed by Twigger. Nice to see you. And Tammy Pie. Hi. Alessandra's here. And we have Jennifer. Hello. Lily Rose. Nice to see you. Traitors. Oh my gosh. I was beside myself with that finale. Oh, the double crossing at the last minute. Saskia, Nadine, I'm not saying no more on that because there might be people that's not watched it yet, and I'd hate to give a spoiler. Sharon, hello, nice to see you. Will, hi Will. Our Becca, hello Becca. Saskia and Nancy, Elspeth. We've got Susanna and Kathy, Kristen and Rachel, Jennifer and Steph, hello. The fireside chat behind on work, but I'm glad you can tune in. Work can wait. We all need our connection, don't we, with the community. Lucia, 78 Distilling, hello. And don't know, Jennifer, I know there's a couple of Jennifers in, so I don't want to miss either out. Dawn, hello Dawn. I can't believe, Dawn, that you was in Glastonbury on Saturday and we didn't bump into you. We was there till just after lunch when it started to rain, and we sat in Happy Glastonbury Cafe, not the shop, the cafe, just to let the rain stop or ease a bit. But I can't believe we missed you. And Nancy, Lolly, hello. Ferdiad, how are you doing? Nice to see you. And Dawn, another Dawn. Glinda, hello. And Forever Whereafter, hello. Donna, so many lovely people here. Claire, hello Jonathan, nice to see you. Our Chris, hey up Chris. I loved seeing your birthday haul today. That was great. And happy belated birthday, because this is the first opportunity, is it? Maybe not. Maybe it was in the hall live last week. Christine, Golden, hello. Jackie, and yeah, you called it Big Ben. I know. Astral Lady, hello. Claire. Gosh, there's so many. There's already 106 people here. Star and Flurry, hello. Caroline, hello. Jen, hello. Nice to see you. How good was the Traitors? Yeah, exactly. It was really good. Freudis, hello. Carol, hello. D and Nodi, nice to see you. Craggy, hello, Laurie. Mage, I think. Oh, and Heather just coming in as well. So, hello to everybody who's here. So, how's everybody's week been? It's been full on for me. So, as you know, got back from Glastonbury on Sunday, having had an amazing 7 days there. Thank you to everybody that's watched the vlog as well. I think that vlog has had the most views than any other vlog I've put up in a short space of time. If you go back to some older vlogs that have been up a couple of years, but to say, I mean, it took nearly all day for it to get up. But yeah, to say it's not even been up a week yet, it's had a lot of views and lots of lovely comments as well. So thank you to everybody for that. Let's pop the chat on screen so I can see what's being said. And then I'm straight back into work. I'm in training for 2 weeks, as in shadowing, and because I'm taking over a different role, as you know, I've had a new job, as well as handing over to my successor. So it's been pretty full on, and then I've managed to do a video every day as well, because I was starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed, because obviously I've got a lot of decks still from Spotlight to show, and then decks from my birthday I've not shown yet. Schiffer sent a couple of decks, yeah, and one or two others that have been sent. I was like, I need to just plow through these. So love the vlog, thank you. Yeah, it seems a few of us have had a busy week. Thank you, Marilyn. Yeah, this is one that I picked up in Glastonbury. I love the colour of this blue. I think I said you can see it's handmade look as well. I think I said on the haul video that it looks black on camera, but it's a really dark midnight blue with this with the tour on it. It's really nice. Hello, MA. I can hear the fireworks outside, but I can't see them from the living room. I thought you meant you could hear my fireworks then, because that's all I'm hearing at the minute is fireworks as well. Just rolling in after Robin's live. Yeah, I stayed as late as I could. I think I stayed till about 10 to, and I was like, oh, I need to get ready. I need to make a cup of tea and at least start the music. So I started the music and then ran to finish my cup of tea and get back here. So poor dogs are petrified. I know, it's terrible, isn't it? We haven't had, because our council they're not bankrupt, but they're near bankrupt. So they've scaled back on a lot of events and things. The Riverside Festival. Do you remember when we had the first ever tarot meetup and we went to the Riverside Festival on the Sunday? That's been scrapped because it was put on pause last year. It was put on pause this year, and then they've announced that they've scrapped it. It's never happening again. And that was like a huge event for our city. Huge. Lots of live acts. But anyway, also they've had, for as long as I can remember, probably even long before I was born, they have a huge organised bonfire firework display at the Forest Recreation Ground, and that's where the Goose Fair is. And I just used to stand at the window and watch it because I've got sight of it, rather than be outside, you know. Although I did used to go down all the time years ago, and that hasn't been on, and it wasn't on last year. They're just saying they can't afford to put events on, which is a shame. Just arriving and tidying up, set 8 decks aside and made room for them. So if every time you take decks off, Robin, and you put them onto like the shelf previously, you should be able to create a shelf or two to put your sacred items on for your altar that you're wanting to do, which would be cool. Traitors, and people are still talking about traitors. I think there's a bit of a not a delay, but I think more and more people are catching on to how just how good Traitors is. I think some people initially, because I've watched it right from the start, but it was a very last minute thing because I thought, oh, I don't know if I fancy another kind of reality type thing, but it's not a reality. It's nothing like a reality show. It is a game. But I was like, don't know if I'm going to watch it. And then my sister said, oh, just watch the first one. And that was it. Hooked. It is so good. Yes, Simon, but I have a long, long way to go to make altar space. All you need is a shelf from him. One shelf, honestly. And then just put something that represents your spirituality, really. Doesn't have to be huge. I did a short about creating an altar space on a budget, and it was just like a wooden tray, and it had a candle, a crystal, a shell, and crystals representing earth, candle for fire, a shell for water, did I have for air, feather for air, and it can be as simple as that. Which Traitors is everyone watching? The celebrity one that ended night before last. I just watched an hour of series 1 thinking I wouldn't like it, and then I was hooked. Exactly the same, Dawn. Exactly the same. Please, no spoilers for Traitors. Some people in the chat haven't seen it yet. No, not giving anything away other than it's gripping. So, yeah, couple of things then, and then we'll go into today's discussion, which I've been working on this afternoon. I was just talking to Jen actually before coming live, and I have felt so lazy today. Didn't go for a walk. We're going tomorrow morning. But the reason why I didn't go for a walk is my car, my personal car, not the one I use for work, but my personal car, got a flat battery a couple of weeks ago. So I thought, well, I probably need a new one because it drained after just me not using it for like 2 or 3 days. But it was at work, so I had to leave it there. And so now it's sat for quite some time, but my friend came over and we jump started it and I drove it. I'd already pre-booked and paid for a new battery. So that had to come out of Glastonbury money as well. So that was fitted. And then because it's been sat under trees, which links to why I started thinking about tonight's theme, it was just covered in leaves, but the leaves had already started to like decompose, so it was all slimy and grungy. So after I had the battery fitted, I then took it to have it valeted. So I didn't get back until about, I don't know, 11 o'clock. And then I just sat on the sofa and I was saying to Jen, I just turned into this couch potato where I couldn't move. I was like, not doing anything else. And so I thought, right, I'll plan a discussion for tonight that we can have. And I spent a couple of hours writing notes. And but again, when we do these type of discussions, I really do like them to be interactive. So please do join in. Yes, I have got me PJ bottoms on. I have. If I was to stand up, you'd see them. And they've been on since about 11 o'clock, I think, or did I? I nipped out, Becca, to post your candles, but other than that, yeah. But that was about 11 o'clock as well, so yeah. Anyway, what I did want to mention first is, because like Chris today, who did his birthday haul, I did a birthday haul, but this week a belated birthday gift came that was going to be given to me in Glastonbury in person from the lovely Vasco. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to go through circumstances out of his control and everybody's control. He wasn't able to go, and so he posted it, and it arrived the other day. And I think this is one of the most adorable things I've ever seen. Look at this hair. Isn't he cute? I love his ears. So he has put a little tag, and he's put from darkest Surrey to Nottingham via Glastonbury, which is really cute. And then there's a note here that says, please look after this hair. Hairy Pops would love a new home. So this is his new home. But yeah, I just think he's gorgeous, isn't he? And obviously Vasco knew that I loved hairs, so he can sit here on my little reading space, and he is so soft. Oh, he's just really plush, adorable, beautiful knitting job. I know he's so talented. I've seen a few things that he's created, but the hair is just perfect. I've got my little oven on the go. This is amazing. I don't know if you can see the smoke coming out the top. If I put it with a darker background, don't know if it's showing on camera. Oh, that's not going to help at all. But there is smoke coming out the top of it. This aroma is amazing. I'm so pleased that I bought this. I didn't buy it last year, but I'm getting the wafts from it now. It's just beautiful. Do you have any Hair Rabbit tarot decks? I do. I've got the Hair Tarot. Is it called the Hair Tarot? Or is it the White Rabbit Tarot? The one by I can't remember if it's by now. And I've got Luna Lapian. Anyway, they're up there. But yes, I've got some hair tarot. Hi Tamoya, nice to see you. Yeah, so I feel like I brought the aroma of Glastonbury back as well, and I put some ritual, it's called, this one, from Sons of Asgard. So it's got ritual in it, but I've also broken up some white sage. I've got a bag of loose white sage, whoops, if you recall. So I've broken some of that into it as well. And it just smells divine. Put them back. I knocked a spray off, so I put that back on. I actually forgot that I've got the triple sage smudge in a tin, so I could have put some in from there. Oh, amazing. So yeah, everywhere smells lovely at the minute. The pentacles in Oak, Ash and Thorn are hairs, that's true, the Ferdiad. Rabbit Tarot, yeah, it's Nikita. That's who the creator is, Nikita. That perfume bottle. Yeah, it's called an incense oven. And it's really clever. So you I have to be careful what I touch because it does get hot, but this top chimney bit doesn't. You have a little tray where you have to line it with incense sand. Now, they don't tell you that in the shop. So you put your tea light in, you put your dish in, which has got your herb blend on top of the incense sand, and then you put that on, which has holes around the top and the chimney, and then you just leave it, and after a few minutes it just smells gorgeous. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I was like, incense sand, what's that? But I ordered some, and it's light, and I've got my little spoon. This is the spoon, Sandra, because she gave me a free wooden spoon for buying the oven. And I said, I've got one I use on my altar space, quite a nice, ornate, heavy one. But it's just like baking powder or some other white substance. And I really felt, because I was like putting it in and making it all level for the base. But yeah, it's basically like baking powder. It doesn't feel like sand at all. It hasn't got the same texture. But you have to put a layer of that first and then put your incense on top so that when it gets really hot, it doesn't stick to the glass. So very whimsical. Yeah, and there's all different patterns and designs, but it's so far, because I did buy charcoal discs, I did buy a new burner, but so far this is really good because it doesn't give off a lot of smoke. In fact, when I was holding it up, you could hardly see the smoke, but it does smoke, but it's very subtle, but the smell is really nice. It's one of my favorites that I've had so far. Mysterious bag of white powder, I know. And when I was taking it out on the spoon and like, not that I've got experience of that, but I've seen enough Breaking Bad and TV programs. But yeah, so as well as that, he also put in this really lovely card as well, which was really sweet. And he says, I hope you enjoy your little hair and look after him. It was made with care and love. Thank you for putting up with me. So yeah, that was really nice. So if you watch this back, Vasco, because I know Saturdays are difficult for you to be here. So if you do watch this back, thank you so much. And he has come into a home where he'll be loved and appreciated. I saw it here in a deck recently. It's called Conjure Cards. Oh yes, I've got Conjure Cards. They're quite good actually. Which store was that incense oven from? It was from Fairyland. Fairyland Aromatics. Fairyland Aromatics. I was really worried about it because it's very delicate. It's not thick glass, it's very delicate. And she just lazily wrapped this bubble wrap around it. I thought it might go into a box with polystyrene round or something like that, even though I don't like polystyrene. But no, she just loosely put this thing around, chucked it in a bag. I said, there you go. And then she made some comment about how she'd wrapped it. I'm not feeling it today. It's like, thanks. I've got nearly 200 miles to travel with it. Country cards, that sounds interesting. Yeah. I'll try and remember Gold Monday. Gold Monday. I'll try and remember, but anybody who knows me in real life knows that my memory is shocking. But I have remembered Becca for the end. Now that I just said that. All right. So, wanted to talk a little bit about our theme for today. So, let me get my notes up, and I need to remember to look for comments there. But if you do, obviously, because I want you to kind of join in with me, then do like perhaps put it in capitals or something. So this morning, when I stood waiting for my friend to come to jumpstart my car, it was fresh. It was overcast. It was grey. And yeah, it just reminded me of, winter is fast approaching and fall, because of the leaves, autumn was coming towards an end. We're in the third month of, have I frozen? I've frozen on my computer, but I need to get this back up and see if I'm frozen on. I'm back. I thought I'd frozen. I don't know what happened there. Am I back? Back. Okay. Don't know why I froze, but anyway, I'm back. But I'll try and keep an eye on it because I haven't got my iPad because I've got my notes open for this. So I don't know how far I got up to with what I was saying, but as I was stood there waiting to have my friend come to jumpstart my car that was covered in leaves, and everywhere was a carpet of these beautiful brown, orange, and golden leaves. And then I looked up at the trees that are now almost completely bare. And I just started thinking about, how nature just sheds, nature just lets things go. And in the last couple of lives, as in Cuppa Catchman card type lives, we've had a discussion around the darker half of the year. That was the first subject, and we talked about that. And then in mid-October, because then I did Spotlight before I went away, we talked about ancestral work and connecting with ancestors. Oh no, don't say end of autumn. But it is, isn't it? It's fast approaching. But we are now going into winter. So I know we're only kind of like a week or so into November, but 2 months and 1 week into autumn. And I just looked at the leaves that were now all on the ground and not on the trees. And I thought, yeah, autumn shows us that that nature releases with grace, with ease, and it's preparing itself to just let go and put itself in rhythm with the natural ebb and flow of the cycle, the endless cycle that we go through in life and in nature. And things that have served their purpose are no longer needed. And trees in particular just let it go. They fall, and they've served their purpose. And then it's about renewal and preparing for what's coming next. But trees trust. They trust that renewal process, that when they release, that needs to happen so that renewal can take place. Nature lets go of things. Nature lets go of things that have to go for the good of the trees. Yeah, exactly. And so I put some notes this afternoon because I was really thinking about this, and I'll share it with you. I need to get a banner up there that's reminded me of where we're at. So the spiritual importance of letting go, and share your thoughts as well. So I was thinking about it, and I put that, spiritually, letting go means releasing what no longer nourishes us, what no longer supports us, or particularly supports us in our growth, in our developments. Whether that's habits that we formed that aren't good for us, whether it's, and this is a big one for me, which is around fear, because I've talked about fear many times over the year, false experiences appearing real. They really hold us back. Whether it's relationships, And I don't necessarily mean, relationships as in a significant other, just any types of relationships, um, or even outdated versions of ourselves, because we're also constantly evolving and changing, and the people that we are today is not the person that we were perhaps 5 years ago. We're constantly, as I've said again many times, we're the sum of our lived experiences, and those experiences shape us. And so we're constantly evolving. But sometimes we can hold on to former um, ways of being, ways of reacting to things, ways of um, not moving forward, not growing and developing because of fear or worry. And again, thinking of things that could potentially happen. I've always embraced change. It represents growth for me. That's brilliant, Ollie. Fear is a big one for Carol too. Yeah. My family is trying to let go of our community and location, getting ourselves set to move to a bigger place. So monumental. Trees make it look easy. They do, don't they? But just as trees shed their leaves to survive winter, we too need to clear space for things like rest and healing, and that eventual rebirth, that resubmergence of coming through the winters of our part of the year on our journey. And that's what, going back to what I said about preparing for the dark half of the year, when we talked about that it's okay to hermit. It's okay to hunker down, because that's a natural rhythm of all living beings, whether it's trees and plants, unless they are, evergreens. But even then, there's that network, there's that support network. But also, when you think of animals that hibernate and forage and bring things in, and we've always done it, pagans, if you think about the Christmas tree and the origin of the Christmas tree, it was to bring it in, to keep it warm, and the tree spirits warm through the cold, dark winter months. I keep thinking I'm seeing flashes in the corner of my eye, and it's really putting me off, but it's the fireworks reflecting on a picture on the wall that's glass, and it's giving these little sparks. I'm like, have I got something wrong with my vision? Yeah, and letting go is not about loss, and it's not about defeat. It's an act of trust. Going back to what I was saying about the trees, how they trust the cycle and rhythm of nature. We too, will emerge when the time is right for us. Let's see what this is. Nancy says, as much as I would like to hermit completely, it's just not possible now. However, my social life drops completely and I mostly stay at home. And that's hermiting for you and in your life, isn't it? I mean, I live on my own. And that's why I've got the channel name that I've got, because I see myself as a hermit. But, I noticed when I got up for work this week, because it was my first week back after a week off and the clocks had changed, it was a little bit lighter in the morning at the start of the week than it was yesterday. And now I came home from work last night and it was dark. And I don't know if you remember, but the last time I did a Cuppa Catchman cards, which would only be 3 weeks ago, Spotlight was 2 weeks ago. So yeah, 3 weeks ago, I took a picture of sunset. Do you remember? And I uploaded it quickly and showed you the sunset. And that was taken at 7:05. Sunset today was 4:15. So that's how quickly, the darkness comes, particularly when you put a clock back. But yeah, and our spiritual paths are not just about gaining and achieving. It's also about surrendering and simplifying. And the winter months is a good way for us to be able to do that. I'm having trouble. Saskia says, I'm having trouble letting go of fear in order to live a more balanced life. Emotionally, after the big C, it's terrifying living again, trusting your body again. I can totally understand why you would feel that. And I think, I don't want to mention people who aren't in the chat, but a friend of mine talked about, it's took a lot of years to be in that situation where so many years with the all clear, to be able to fully kind of breathe out and accept. So yeah, it's a big thing. It's a big thing. Hi, Carol. I've been doing my annual autumn deep cleaning and decluttering. Again, letting things go. Exactly. Yeah. And then I was thinking about the fact that what we often release, particularly when it's things that no longer have a purpose for us, or things that do hold us back, when we do release, the things that we release often transform into things such as wisdom and strength, and that's wonderful, isn't it? If we can let go of something that holds us back, then something else can come in. And then I remember seeing something recently, and I have on my iPad, which is linked to my iPhone, whatever I put in notes on my iPhone ends up, automatically appears on my iPad. Something that said, autumn teaches us that there is beauty in endings, in soft surrender and natural transformation. And yeah, we can learn so much from nature. Sandra says, I did a deep clean of my altar space before redoing the whole thing. Yeah, same. Have you done that recently? Are you gonna share it, Sandra? I'd love to see it. What's wrong with me? I've been bringing stuff home as fast as I clear out. Well, I can't say anything. But this week I've had, like Sandra, I've had a real declutter. I did do a quick video the other night, but I feel so much better because I've got space. And I've looked at things and thought, particularly in drawers, I tend to put things in drawers because if it's in a drawer, I can't see it. It no longer exists until you open that drawer and you think, oh, I can't find anything in here. And I've gone through things, a lot of drawers, particularly the drawers under my altar and the drawers here at the side of me at the desk. And I've gone through and I thought, if I've not used it for like a year, it's going. I've took some things into work. I've gifted a few things. I've got an old black mirror that I've gifted somebody. And yeah, gone, free, gone, declutter. Yes, my employer says it's time for a recharge, but things are only spiraling faster and faster. We lose people and no one is getting hired. Yeah, so there is a downside to letting go of things as well, but that's more human doing, isn't it, rather than cyclical nature. But anyway, so some discussion points thinking about that. Again, I'll go back to my banners. So reflection and discussion prompts. If you were a tree right now, what would you be ready to let fall? And I'll put the comments back up. And again, I've kind of done a bit of journaling on, because I thought, well, I need to answer these questions as well. And I think I've kind of said already, but I would let go, or I'd let fall away, is self-doubt and fear. Because, I am 55 years of age now, and I would say for the majority of my life, I've lived in fear. And I do think a lot of that is inherited. My mum was somebody who was also fearful, and she would always worry about things, and she would often think about things that could go wrong. And I remember saying once, well, if you think the worst and it doesn't happen, then it's a lovely thing. And I was like, yeah, but and I get the logic, but I also think for me, I've kind of not took chances on things because I've worried about my own abilities, or what if it goes wrong? What if I leave? And I think the biggest fear is losing stability, because we all need to feel secure and stable. And I have been when you have been through a situation as well, it's always there in the back of your mind. So, I have been in a situation when I was just after I turned 30, where I became very ill. I wasn't able to work for 3 years. It was a very dark time, and there is that residual kind of leftover fear as, oh, what if it happens again? But then at the same time, I knew that taking on new responsibilities at work, that fear would come. And I thought, no, this time I'm not going to let it hold me back. I'm just going to go for it, because things will turn out. Things will turn out okay. Whatever happens, things will turn out okay. I just have to trust the process. So, Simon, I'm exactly the same down to almost the year. Wow. I'd release relationships that are no longer healthy. I would let go of fear. Remember that my guides and angels are always with me. At 70 years of age, I need to live life to the full. There are a few things I should have said before, but fear always holds me back. Yeah. I need to let go of control of situations and just be able to trust the process. The things that once drove me nuts in my life, I'm much calmer. And that's good, isn't it? Because we also have to realize there's things that we can't control. And not having control over things can also be, anxiety inducing and creating fear. Golden also says, fear is a thing definitely inherited for me. Becca says, I can relate. Sandra also says fear is a big thing. I think it's something a lot of us experience, isn't it? So again, me in kind of like my journaling head that I was in this afternoon, I put I'd be ready to let fall self-doubt and fear, those leaves that cling even when the season has changed. They've always kept me cautious, maybe even protected at times, but now they're just blocking. It's time to let them drift away so that confidence and trust can take root instead. And hopefully a lot of people can relate to that as well. So the next one for a discussion prompt is, what are you holding on to that has already served its purpose? And while you guys are responding to that, I'll share. I think I've been holding on to old expectations of how things should be. don't know if you can relate to that, but again, it's what I've just spoke about the control. I'm not a controlling person, but in my mind, I have an order of how I think things should be. And then when they aren't like that, I end up feeling quite, I think frustration is not the right word, but out of kilter. And whether that's, ideas of success or things that no longer fit what I'm becoming, or things that once gave me direction, that are now sort of, how can I put it? I've put like little keywords, and I should have perhaps put a little bit more. But things that once gave me direction, but now prevent me from seeing new possibilities, new directions to go in. Does that make sense? I consider it almost an evolutionary thing. A certain level of fear has kept our species alive. Yes, what's the, early man, when confronted by a lion, would go into one of three states: fear, fight, flight, or freeze. Are these coming up by themselves? Yeah, either fight, if that's the only option, flight, run, or freeze, stand there and do nothing, paralyzed by fear. So you're right, we do need an element of fear to keep us safe, but having fear to keep us safe is very different, isn't it, from fear that holds us back from becoming our full potential. I'm letting this tea go cold because I'm gassing so much. Holding on to relationships that have already ended, not good. Yeah. Spiritual castration. What? We're using an old map. Yeah. Other people's expectations. Good. Yeah, absolutely. Our expectations around our personal desires, life achievements, or lack of, harmful memories. These are big ones, aren't they? I would let go of memories that did not serve me in any good ways. Decks that I put in my farewell box that, yeah. Do you know the number of times I've gone to my containers digging through for, why have I done this? No, I get that. If we give in to adrenaline chasing, we will all hurl ourselves over a cliff. Oh wait, isn't that what we're meant to do? It's also confusing. I missed that. It just jumped so many chats then. Releasing old beliefs and ideas. Yeah. I keep trying to let go. It can be really freeing, can't it? All right. So the next one is, how does it feel to release something you've outgrown? So we've been talking about what we could do, and things that we think we should let go of to advance our spiritual development. But for those of us who have let something go, I think it's really important that we share how it's made us feel, because that can help us again with other things, that we need to let go of, that we might be fearful of letting go of. And for me, I think it's been both freeing but also scary. And I think the scary part comes first. There's that initial sense of freedom in the space that it creates, isn't it? let's talk about it on a really sort of basic physical level of decluttering. We feel that sense of, I've got space. I've just said it. I've got all this space now. But it's a scary thing to think, if I let this go, it's gone. It's gone. Will I want it back? How will I be without it? And that's just at a very sort of practical level. The fear is in not knowing what comes next a lot of the times, because, the future isn't set. It's uncertain. That's why for hundreds of years, if not millennia, we've been using divination tools, because man struggles to not know what's coming. So there is that sort of fear of not knowing what's coming next. But I've learned that every time I've released something that I've outgrown, something better aligned has always followed. 100%, I can say that with absolute confidence. When I have had the courage to let go of something that I have outgrown, something else that's better aligned has taken its place. Yeah, but please, Carol, let that go. You can't control what anybody else thinks of you. And the greatest thing you can achieve there is what you think of you. Because, people have an opinion of you based on what their life state is like in that present moment. It's not always about you. Obviously, if you've done something to somebody and that it's had an impact on them that's been negative, then it's on us, isn't it, to put that right? But at the same time, other people's opinions of you is not your concern, because you can't. It's about them and where they are with their life state at that time. Hello, Naomi. I've been holding on to who I was once. I sometimes struggle to accept my condition has changed me so much and I can't go back. I try to find things that make me feel grateful. Yeah, and that again is a huge thing that you've been through, and then trying to find gratitude. But at the same time, you're absolutely right. We can't go back. We can only move forward. And acceptance is a huge thing, to accept the situation that we find ourselves in, but also make peace with that new reality. And like you said, try and find joy, try and find things to be grateful in, as well as, thinking about the good things in our lives, the things that we are, grateful for. I feel lighter. Clear vision, clarity of views. Letting go is sometimes terrifying as we wait to see how much new pathways twist and turns. Fear releases cortisol, so it's very damaging. Hello, Cheryl. Nice to see you. We're talking about fear. No, we're talking about letting go. It's the fall, it's the autumn, getting ready for winter. Do we think it needs to be a big letting go moment? No, big or small. Or is there value in phasing things out? I think I'm a phaser outer. Yeah, it's whatever works. The darker half of the year is 6 months, isn't it? And we've got time to prepare with autumn, and then we're in winter, and then that's about thinking about the like I said, the re-emergence. Crying is a big releaser. Yeah. Star card after the Tower card. Absolutely. I am going to actually, let me pull a RWS deck down, because it needs to be one, though, that is in order. I think my Pambi is in order. I don't want to be scratching around for cards, because I am going to obviously make tarot reference. Tell me this is in order. Yes. Pambi it will be. plan B it'll be. I don't give a toss what other people think about me, and that's a great position to be in. Not everybody's there though yet, but it's a process that we need to get to. Also, more often than not, we are the ones making up things in our heads about what others may think of us. Yeah. Cheryl says, I let go of caring what people think of me. Nobody knows what I've been through or going through. It takes time to heal and come to peace with it. People who love and know you will be there. Yeah, when you're ready. Absolutely. And again, we can't control how other people view us. As long as we're true to ourselves and we're being genuine and we are who we are, we attract our own tribe, don't we? And if somebody doesn't get it, again, that's on them. I love the feeling after a good hard cry. I love the feeling of that switch of emotion when you're having a cry and then somebody makes you laugh and you go from crying to laughter. There's no feeling as powerful as that. It's like you're going to burst. So I think I've only experienced that twice, but wow, that's something that's really a really powerful emotion. I'm so about how clarifying and cleansing tarot is. As a newbie, it's like an all access pass to near deep knowings. Yeah. Chris says, I'm definitely proficient and overthinking about what others will think, how others will react. I mean, I do think a lot about how others will react. That is something. And again, you're in a position, Chris, where you're a manager and you have to kind of consider other people's reactions to things. And I think that's about having empathy for people as well. That helps us to think about perhaps how we frame something. But again, if we know we're doing it with good intentions, it's about how we support that person with their reaction. Okay, so next one is this one. Okay, I have to keep switching between banners and comments for you guys. What does letting go look like for you in practice? Is it forgiveness? Is it decluttering? Is it ending something, or is it simply acceptance? I think we've covered a lot of this, but obviously when I was writing this afternoon, I don't know how things are going to go. So that's why the prompts are as they are. But what I've put for this is, for me, letting go is mostly about acceptance. Stopping the internal resistance to things. Again, that links to fear, but how I've held myself back and I've not taken steps forward because of that resistance, that worry, that fear. Also forgiving myself for not having everything figured out. That was something that I am beyond that. And I'm talking about, what has letting things go look like for me in practice. But I used to be somebody that I would be really hard on myself for not having seen something and then experienced it and think, why did I not see that coming? What is wrong with me? Or why can't I figure this out? Why can't I solve this? Why? And I'd be my own worst critic. You can hear little John. Hopefully you can hear little John. Yeah, and I have got a lot better at just allowing life to unfold without gripping so tightly to what I want the outcome to be. and focusing on that outcome. And sometimes it's simple as just taking a deep breath and saying, I'm letting this go. I'm releasing this. You know, it's out of my control. The tighter I grip to it does not mean I'm going to get the outcome that I want, or I'm going to figure this out the way. I mean, we do figure things out, but sometimes we're too early in that process for that to even happen, aren't we? That's where we're talking about other people criticizing us. Nodi says, also often something taken from you is something you wouldn't have let go yourself. Yeah. And deadline came for you to move on. Like pets often leave right at the brink of your transformation. Yeah. I mean, you're right. Things are taken from us. And that's particularly when it's unexpected, that's a shock to our system, isn't it? And we then having to grapple with dealing with the emotion of that and the pain of that, and that again though is something that we haven't got control of, so we find ourselves in the process of dealing with it and processing it, but also then our new reality, we have to kind of align ourselves to it, and it takes time. Nothing that we're talking about here is a quick fix, is it? It's a process. I can't do anything about the process. Sorry, I can't do anything about the situation, and I know I've been the best I can be, and therefore I accept it. Exactly. It's having trust in yourself. Carol says, for me, letting go is acceptance of myself as I've changed what and whom I need in my life. I like that, Carol. Learning to trust my 78 friends completely. As my mom said, you can't push the river. I like that. People way too many chances. Giving people way too many chances, yeah. Was it Maya Angelou who said, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time? I struggle with that because I like somebody to have at least a second chance. I believe none of us, are perfect. We're all fallible. We're all going to make mistakes. And I think if somebody comes with genuine remorse or being really sincere and saying, look, I've messed up, I'm so sorry, I will always say, okay, that's fine. We'll move on from it. And I can pretty much move on. Again, it depends on the situation. If it's something horrific, I'm not making light of that. But in the main, I like somebody to have a second chance. But then there is also the saying that I always keep in my mind is, if you hurt me once, it's your fault. But if you hurt me twice, it's mine, because I've allowed that. So that's my cutoff at that point. If you're alive, you have permission to be happy and prosperous. Keeping your side of the street clean is your prime responsibility. Depends on what it is I'm accepting. I don't easily accept someone shoving a loaf of bread down my throat. Don't know where you're going with that, Jen. Yes, Maya Angelou. Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah. All right. So I'm just conscious of the time, and I've not even got to winter yet. Well, that was a beautiful firework. Where am I up to? I've lost it. Here we are. Okay. When have you experienced beauty or peace in an ending? Now, I didn't know whether I was going to put this one in or not because, obviously, trigger alert, endings can be very painful. So only share, what you're comfortable sharing, and also where there has been beauty and peace in ending. And I'm not necessarily talking about endings of lives of loved ones or pets or anything like that. I'm talking about ending something that no longer serves us. And I put here, I've experienced beauty in endings when I've looked back and realised that what felt like a loss was actually redirection. And again, I was thinking back to when I was, after I turned 30 and was ill, and I lost a lot. I lost my faith, I lost my marriage, I lost my home, I lost friends. Friends. But as somebody said earlier, the ones who love you and know you stick by you. But actually, what that led me to do, because I couldn't work for almost 3 years, was that I retrained. I went down the education route and I changed. Yeah, that's something else I lost. I lost my career. And it was a redirection, and my life is so much better. So out of that darkness came something really beautiful. It was beauty, and it did provide peace. There were friendships that drifted, things that ended. And at the time, they really hurt. But later, when I saw that they cleared space for growth and a deeper connection with things that brought me peace and joy, and greater friendships, then there was that quiet peace in that understanding that actually, as horrific as that was, where I still have the residual fear, life is better because of that experience. Guy Fawkes. Did you see what I posted on my own personal Facebook? It's brilliant. Correction on my last message: fool me once, shame on you; fool me twice, shame on me. Yes, it's a pretty similar thing, isn't it, Kay? Gee, Simon, but look where you are now. So many of us are here for you. And I found my place amongst this community. In letting go of debts and other possessions to other people who are deserving, the things belong to them. I was just a conduit. And there's something beautiful, isn't there, in gifting? There's something really, it no longer serves me. Therefore, I think you would appreciate this, and you gift it on, and it's a beautiful thing. I'm still never sure whether we're celebrating that you didn't succeed or, yeah. So just as a segue for a second, the thing I shared on my personal Facebook was this conversation between two people. It's one person playing two parts, but it's saying that, every year, see that person on the bonfire there? He said, that's you. And he's talking obviously to Guy Fawkes. He's like, that's me. He says, yeah. He says, every year we build a bonfire and an effigy of you, and we burn you to death. And he's like, every year? For how long? He's like, 400 and something years. Every year for 400 and something years. He says, yeah, we've got long memories. And then he's like, so the bonfire that you burn me on is a reminder of, what it was I tried to do. But the fireworks are representing of what it was that I didn't achieve. And you do that every year. So yeah, we burn an effigy of Guy Fawkes every year for the last 400 and something years for something that he didn't do, or something that he wasn't successful in doing. This is quite a big one, so I'll put this up. Simon, it sounds like your early 30s were devastating. I had sickness and upheaval in my early 30s, and it brought my wonderful husband and daughter into my life. Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, for me, without going into it, I've gone into it before, but for everything to completely fall down, the tower, everything crumbles, then you rebuild, but you make sure you rebuild on a firmer foundation. I, for one, and there's obviously a lot of us here, really appreciate your presence. Thank you. Everyone dislikes change. I would say everybody dislikes unexpected change. I think if we're an advocate of that change, we might like it. Although I get what you're saying, because it can also be quite unnerving, can't it? Even if we are the person behind that change. Hello, Beth. Nice to see you. 78 Distilling says, I experienced most beauty when I left my religion and found my way into another faith. It's the most beautiful and most peaceful thing that happened when I let go of old beliefs. I can relate to that, absolutely. Oh, are you? It's a beautiful deck. I've showed it today. I love it. I really love it. So enjoy. I'm still in the process of leaving old faith and figuring out something new. Nancy says, I grew up with a significant amount of racism directed at me, and that traumatized and made me question everything about myself. Oh my God, I can only imagine. Letting go of that has been really difficult due to how young I was. Yeah, because in our formative years, that shapes us, doesn't it, into who we become as an adult. There was an old Jesuit priest who said, give me the boy until the age of 12 and I will show you the man, or something. But it's a similar principle, that those formative years sets you up. So I'm sorry that you went through that, Nancy. I do hope that you're in a position now, though, where you're loved and supported, and you're certainly in a very safe space here. Christine says, having moved countries from Australia to Canada with my trans child this year, you're really testing me with the flags. Living in an aligned environment is so incredibly beneficial for the mental health and well-being. Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. Beauty in endings. I'll always remember the last day of radiotherapy, approaching the building. There was a perfect heart-shaped space in the clouds, like a fresh breath, a lovely sign. I love it when nature gives us those signs and symbols. The omens, it reminds me of reading The Alchemist. Completely not what we are talking about, but I found beauty and peace when I first discovered Glastonbury. It is what we're talking about. Yeah. When you let go of who you used to be and came into what you really are. Oh, thank you. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. I want to pronounce it right, but Gold One is the X to replace another vowel, or I want to say your name right. Okay, I'm going to jump down to the bottom, just because I want to do the last prompt on this section, then I'll move on to the second part. So this is, can you think of a time when you resisted change but later realized it was necessary? So absolutely, for me, there have been times when I have stayed in situations when I should have left. Work was one. I did a job that I did for 10 years. This is like pre-2000, all through the 90s. I worked in this particular job that people would say now is very dead end. But I became stagnant, I think, in it, and now just going through a routine. And it was shifts. It was 7 till 3, 7 till 3, 3 till 11, 3 till 11, day off, 7 till 3, 7 till... And I did that for 10 years in this routine. But also I stayed, talked about, stayed in situations, even ways of thinking. I've stayed in ways of thinking for way too long after they stopped serving me. And it's because of fear of the unknown. But once I finally surrendered and said, enough, this is changing, I'm not being in this situation anymore, life opened up in ways that I couldn't have imagined. My life is completely different to where it was up until about the year 2000. That's quite a significant landmark as well, isn't it? That's the year I turned 30. So there was like the first 30 years and the next 30 years, although I'm not quite there yet, 25 years in. But if I went back to the person in my 20s and said, this is what you're going to be doing, I wouldn't have believed it. I'd be like, how? How can I do that? And resistance is often fear in disguise. We have to remember that when we're resisting something, we've got to recognize it as fear. But also remember that change is always, or nearly always, the path to alignment, to getting ourselves in line. I forgot to put the comments back up. Oh, you're on about Ramon. His name is Ramon. Who? Why are we talking about Ramon? I can't find the comment. Yes, I resisted coming out. Didn't start coming out until I was 18. Didn't properly come out until 21. God, I was 30 summit. It was very different in the 80s. And now I'm resisting properly coming out of the broom closet. You'd think I'd learnt the lesson. Just do it. Becca says, I was in a situation for 12 years, and when it was all done, it opened up a better path. At a time, though, it was agony. Yeah, it is. But that goes back to what we were saying earlier. It's only when you're the advantage of being so far past it, and then you can look back and think, yeah, that was agony, but look where I am. But when you're in that, it's so hard to think that the future is going to be better, because you can't see it, because the future doesn't exist. So it's so hard. So that's why, a bit like the earlier prompt about thinking about other times when you've been in similar situations, and then you think, well, actually, look how that played out. Love that, Jackie. When I hit 60, I decided these were my years for me. Brilliant. You keep hoping that something will change, but you finally see that it won't. Time to move on. Yeah. Ferdiad says, same here, but that wasn't that late in my day. Yeah, exactly, Ferdiad. I love that. I now teach out students in secondary school. See, that never would have happened in my school. Never. even if it was suspected your life was hell. There are parts of me that thinks if we're in an unsafe environment, why come out of any closet? We don't owe bullies our truth or anything. Yeah, safety is important. But then I also think about, God, those people that were brave in the past and started movements, civil rights movements and gay pride, and, you know, those that were brave and fought back, that then, you know, brought about societal change, because societal change comes before law changes. Laws only change when there's a populace view about it. Yeah. Hello, Nancy. Nice to see you. Yes, it took 20 years to let go of a relationship with an alcoholic. I resisted moving on, thinking he really needed me, but realized now I needed me. Yeah. There's some lovely things here. It's really warming my heart. I keep hoping for change, but don't think it will happen. It will, Sandra. It will. It will happen. One way or another, it will happen. Okay, so let's talk about tarot for a minute before we go on to the next section, because gosh, I might be going over an hour and a half tonight, guys. But this is great. There's so much interaction. Which tarot card do you personally connect to the idea of release and transformation? So there's so many, isn't there? But for me, it's the Hermit card. When I see the Hermit card, it's around surrender. So we've talked about that. We accept the situation and we embrace letting go rather than forcing change. And we talked about this a few minutes ago about sometimes change that's unexpected is really difficult to process and move through. But sometimes we try and force change as well. And it's better to kind of embrace and let go. Pause and perspective. Transformation comes from seeing things differently, changing our viewpoint, how we look at things, particularly if we've always reacted the same way and not got results. Then it's about reframing, isn't it? Trust the process, because growth happens in stillness and in uncertainty. And again, that's what we've been talking about autumn and winter, the stillness that comes when we let go of things, and then the opportunity for new things to come in and take its place. And then that sort of that releasing shows that dropping what no longer serves us is a conscious choice. And change often emerges when we stop resisting and allow life to unfold. And I just think that the Hermit, because I'm looking at what's coming up in a minute, I just think that the Hanged Man card really embodies that. You know, he is at peace. He is calm. He is looking at things from a different perspective. He's accepting of the situation and the change that's happening around him. And, you know, accepting the stillness, because what will come. I mean, if you think about it, the Death card follows the Hangman, and that is an ending of something and a transition. Let's see what you guys are saying. Okay. 10 of Swords. Yeah. Death. The Death card. Wait, that's the Hanged Man. It is the Hangman. That's the Hangman, Simon. Yeah, it is the Hangman. Death, you're holding the Hangman card, Simon. Oh, you're saying hermit and holding up the hangman, you plonker. Stop confusing us. Oh, that's yeah, but I did correct myself. I said that's because I can see what I'm seeing next. Yeah, he means hangman. But death for me for sure. 10 of Swords is the mother piece. It says there's nothing left to do but jump into the water, move from the head to the heart. Simon, you're not holding up the hermit. Why is everybody saying this to me? 8 of Cups. Definitely talking about hangman. Holding on to the hermit while letting go of the hangman. Yes, he just said hermit by mistake. Yeah. Well, we got there, have we? The hunged hermit Verdiad. The death card, 8 of Swords, 10 of Swords, 8 of Cups, lots of 10 of Swords, lots of deaths. Yeah. Temperance. Temperance, that's interesting, isn't it? I'd also put kind of some others to consider, and I'm sure we've got them. Death, yeah. Transformation through release, embracing the end of one cycle to allow another to begin. 10 of Wands, the burden of carrying too much, a call to lay down what is heavy or no longer, that you're no longer able to bear. 8 of Cups, I'm sure somebody just said 8 of Cups. Walking away from what no longer fulfills you to seek deeper meaning or peace. The Tower, we've talked about that earlier. Necessary breakdowns, destruction as a form of liberation and rebuilding stronger foundations. I know I always bang on about the stronger foundations, but that's because it was such a important aspect of my new life, if you like. Judgment, renewal and awakening after letting go of old self or outdated patterns. And the Fool, beginning anew, traveling lightly after shedding the weight of the past. A little quote. The act of letting go isn't about emptiness, but about preparing space for what's next. And that's just to summarize kind of what we spoke about. Okay, I'm going to go through the next bit. Probably do it in 2 weeks, actually, over 2 weeks. But let's see if I can get through it quite quickly. So the next bit is about preparing for winter. So we've talked about the fall and everything dropping away, and then we're now going into winter in just a few weeks' time, really. So let's get that up. So for me, November really does feel like a threshold month. It's kind of that. I know in the UK we have celebrations, like you can hear all these bangs and everything. It's Guy Fawkes, and you know it's supposed to be one night a year, and it goes on for about 2 weeks. But you know we have Samhain and Halloween, and the September is the advent of autumn, and November just seems that in between transitional month, a threshold month, a quiet pause between the golden glow, if you like, of September and October and the colours and everything of autumn into the stillness and quiet of winter. Oh, sorry, I've got something in my eye. And I put here, embrace rest and reflection, because nature slows down in winter and so should we. You know, I think we get out of kilter when we don't align ourselves with nature and the you know the wheel of the year. So as nature slows down, we should slow down. And as we go into winter, it's inviting us to honor stillness, rest more deeply, you know, sleep for longer hours if we can. I know, you know, other people have commitments and work, but even if we go to bed earlier, the nights are longer, aren't they? So sleep more, but also it's an opportunity to turn inward. And spiritually, that can mean a number of things. For some people, it's journaling more, it's meditating, or it's even renewing tarot practices. I've often heard people in the tarot community saying that during the darker nights, they tend to get out their decks more and explore and journal more with decks, because in the summer and the days are longer, they're out doing things. And so sometimes it's a real opportunity to connect with tarot. So if you have felt kind of out of kilter with tarot, then maybe it's a good opportunity for that. And then ask yourself, what did I learn from this year? And from that, what wisdom will I carry through the quiet months ahead, to really sit with that and really ponder that, and then kind of take it forward, what you've learnt, into when the spring comes and that newness of life again. Let's pop the questions back up. Five of Pentacles. People are still sharing their cards. I don't think we really celebrate Guy Fawkes. We celebrate Bonfire Night. Might be where we're brought up. For us, it was always Guy Fawkes Night. We never called it Bonfire Night as a kid. We do more now, but the whole remember the 5th of November, trees and gunpowder and plot and all that, it was always Guy Fawkes Night when I was little. I have never aligned with nature. Summer is way too hot. I feel better in autumn and winter. I would say that's aligning. If you feel better in autumn and winter, again, different parts of the world, it can be too hot. I can remember when I used to come to the States in summer, I couldn't bear it. When I went once in July, Sandra says, for me, it will be about journaling more and even just playing with cards. Also, more reflective time spent at my altar and in meditation. Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect for that, isn't it? Okay. So next one, we're nearly at the end. So create sacred space for solitude. Sandra's just touched on this as well. So as daylight fades, make your home or sacred space a haven of warmth and peace. I particularly like to light candles. I have lots of candles lit in the winter months. I have soft lighting. I never put the big lights on. I have lamps. This room now, you can see the shadows because it's lit by lamps. I have soft lighting. I have calming scents. And meaningful symbols around me. The winter months calls for us to connect with ourselves, our ancestors. I'm not going to go too much into that. That was the last Cuppa Catching cards. But also our inner voice. It's that time to go inwards, to almost hibernate, go inwards and listen to our inner voice. And in tarot, this energy aligns to the Hermit. So that's why I was saying earlier, I could see the Hermit card coming up on me. When you think about, it's, again, the Hermit here is a solitude. It's about solitude, but also that inner light is shining forward, and that's something we can do, is shine our inner light into the darkness of the winter months, because we've gone into that reservoir where knowledge is, where wisdom is, where our still small voice is. and we've tapped into that, and then we bring that light forward into the darkness of the winter months. Quickly nip back to comments. I need to journal more too, Sandra. That was something that came out of my past life regression reading. We've had a past life regression reading. Naomi says, I've learned that I'm stronger than I thought I was. I've spent time in summer spending time with the people I love. It's brilliant. Late to the party. New beginning. It's very hard. You gave me hope. Oh, that's something. I'm really glad about that. Big light never goes on. Big light. Lots of logs on the fire, plenty to heat, read my cards. Sounds beautiful. Sandra says, I'm a winter baby born in December, so I guess that's why I love the feeling of winter. Yeah, see, I'm an autumn baby. The best place to always have a safe place is in your home, if you can, when the world is crazy. Yeah, to hunker down and feel safe and warm and have our basic human needs met, isn't it? Kay says, my heart and head have been very heavy. Yesterday I locked up school, began to walk. I suddenly felt like skipping. There was a breeze, soft rain in the air, smelled sweet. Something shifted, wonderful. That's lovely. Okay, so where am I up to now? Gosh, we've still got a bit to get through. I might have to skip some of this. Ground and nourish your energy. Again, obviously for winter months. I think we change I certainly do. We change our eating habits, don't we, in the winter months? That's when my mum used to get out her casserole dish. Around this time of the year when it started to get cold, I used to love the smell coming home from school. It was always on a Thursday, coming home from school, and there was a smell of a casserole. It was gorgeous. But I like to have warming foods. I love getting the slow cooker out. The slow cooker never goes on during spring and summer, but around now through winter, I'll put things in the slow cooker. So we eat and act seasonally. Grounding foods are good. Warm teas, just that gives us sustenance. Grounding practices like mindful walks, gratitude lists. Anybody do gratitude lists? Or working with earthy tarot decks. Just those that really kind of connect us with nature. Okay, and then release before you rest. So again, tying it all around, let go, because as we go into winter now, that is the time of rest. So it's really important that we let go of what we don't want to carry forward, such as worries, regrets, any old intentions that you think, well, why was that an intention? Let it go. It might be that you want to perform a small symbolic ritual, such as writing things down and safely burning them and burying them. I know we've talked a lot about that, and bay leaves are something that is really good for that, writing things down that no longer serve us. Burn it safely in a little bowl, cauldron, metal bowl or something like that, and then till it's all ash, and then bury it. It's a real sort of great ritual for that releasing. Okay, and then cultivate inner light and hope. And as I said with the Hermit card, even in darkness, we carry our own light. And it is a great time to be creative, to have connection. to reconnect with our spiritual practices that might have lapsed. And then, spiritually preparing for winter is about tending that flame, keeping it alive through gratitude, community, as well as that introspection that we talked about. And then I wanted to mention that, and I think somebody else mentioned this earlier as well. And when I read it, I was like, yep, it's coming up. When we think about the tarot, the star and the sun cards remind us that light always returns, no matter how long the night lasts. And what I'd also say, again, it's a card that's been mentioned, is the Ten of Swords. The night is at its darkest before the dawn. I feel like I've spoken about that already today, unless it was when I was writing notes for this. The light always returns, okay? And that's the same with winter. It's that time for stillness, for introspection, for everything we mentioned, but also preparing what we're taking forward when the light returns. Just wanted to give a few prompts for discussion, or I put or journaling. What does winter symbolize for you spiritually? I should have done two, really, shouldn't I? And you can type these in as I go through them, as we're coming into the last few minutes. So what does winter symbolize for you spiritually? Is it stillness? Is it rest? Is it inner renewal? What kind of light do you want to nurture within yourself this winter? For me, it's about having calmness, a steady inner light, clarity, trust in the decisions that I've made, trust in the processes that I'm going through, particularly having being productive in things that I want to be productive in, and a time for learning. You're never too old to learn, and I'm going through a process now where I'm having to go through a learning curve. And then what would spiritual hibernation look like for you, and what would you hope to awaken with in spring? Again, we've kind of touched on that, but for me, what the hibernation looks like, just breaking that down, is just to slow down through winter, to rest, to get more sleep, to meditate more, to journal more. And then what do I hope to awaken in the spring is to, don't know what's happening out there, to follow my intuition and to awaken in spring with clarity, with more courage, because that fear still raises its ugly head. So to have more clarity and courage and a renewed energy for the year ahead. And then my final quote is, as the world grows quiet, the soul finds its voice. Because if we are going inward, then it's vitally important. I need to find peace. Not get wound up by things that are out of my control. So because the world goes quiet in winter, and we come indoors and we sit in solitude if we can, and we meditate, and we light candles, and we eat nice warming food, and we have time to rest, then we go inward. Naturally, we go inward, and our soul finds its voice. What was that? It sounds like motorbikes racing each other around the city. So I have got the window open. I know I've got the window open, but I was really warm earlier. Okay, let me go back to comments. Slow cooker smells great all day. It really does. Nothing better than a good casserole. Oh, this is quite a way back. You know, I've not had a good casserole in years. Do you have any decent Slimming World casserole? Don't ask me about Slimming World casserole recipes. There is a. Have you tried the hot pot? The beef hot pot. I think it's beef hot pot or steak hot pot, something like that. It's from the Slimming World range. It's really nice, Chris. That's lovely. Casserole with suri dumplings. Oh, can't have that. So I thought it sounded like someone was moving your furniture about. Sounded like someone was putting a chainsaw through your door. It's just that's down in the city. I'm 19 stories high, and that's idiots on motorbikes. But anyway, I'm going to practice what I preach. Just let it go. Or shut my window. Anyway, I have gone over than usual, longer than usual, but I didn't think, you know, when you're planning to do, let's get that quote off. When you're planning to do a discussion, there's bits I've left out as well. I was going to put a spread in there and a couple of other things. You just don't know how long it's going to take. And I was thinking, I hope I've got enough here. And then here we are I felt like I had to rush it a bit at the end. But anyway, I need to pull where's my tarot tiles? Oh, let's have a card pull. This will be whatever whatever we pull will go as the card of the week in the Hermit's Cave Facebook group. Just a reminder, please, that if you are requested to join the Facebook group, you answer the questions, because we don't let people in who don't, because they could be spam accounts. And we're still declining about 80% of people that request to come in. So, okay. Oh, we have a major card this week. And we have justice. Wow. Be objective in your thinking this week. Communication is vital. There may be an opportunity where you're going to have to make a decision. So, if that's the case, make sure that you have all the facts and you consider all options and all sides that is being presented to you, because if you it's really easy sometimes to get caught up in an emotional side of things, and therefore become quite subjective. And what this card reminds us is that, you know, if we have some decisions to make this week, then we have to come at it from an objective point of view. And therefore, we need to make sure that we've got all the facts that are available to us to be able to make sure the process is fair, and the decision that we're coming to afterwards, we can sit quite comfortably knowing that we've made the decision based on as much evidence and facts that we can gather. All right. Thank you, everybody. All 133 of you have stuck with me for an hour and 55 minutes. It's one of the longest CC&Cs, but yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening wherever you are. Light some candles, shut out the outside world, do some journaling, do some meditating, and yeah, find that inner voice. I will be back. I've still got a load of walkthroughs and things to do, so I'll be back probably every day this week. Excuse me. But yeah, until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.